Hey, everybody, I want to welcome you to this edition of the Captains Club, a special live edition on this Thursday night. Glad you could be with us. The Captains Club, as you know, brought to you by the New York State Correctional Officers and Police Benevolent Association. And we could not be more excited for tonight's event. Obviously, we have a lot of opportunities in the association to talk to great people and people who have given back. And, this is the ultimate give back situation tonight. For us to have the opportunity to chat one-on-one with Breanna Stewart, one of the most prolific players or of athlete of any kind that the New York State Public High School Athletic Association has turned out, one of the greatest winners the sport of women's basketball has ever seen. This really is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for the student athletes of New York State, and we are thrilled to be able to bring it to you. So thank you for being with us on this edition of the Captains Club, sponsored by NYSPHSAA. And at this time, I'd like to welcome in our guest from Seattle, who is back from Russia and now on the West Coast, Breanna Stewart, the former Cicero North Syracuse basketball standout who joins us from the West Coast. And Stewie, first of all, we cannot thank you enough for doing this. It is great to see you again.
Yeah, absolutely. Super happy to be able to be here, to be able to connect with you and also the student athletes, and really looking forward to it.
And the thing that is crazy to me, you are not that far removed for all the successes you have and are having. You are not that far removed from where the people who are watching this, the seat that they are in. When you get ready to do something like this for us, does it take you back, and what memories does it bring back of the high school days?
It definitely takes me back. I think just the memories of, going to school, going to practice, doing all the things, the friendships, being at home all the time, a lot of the things that, as a kid, I took for granted. And, now being all over the place, being in Seattle, Russia, I don't have that much time to really go back home. So just all great memories, of course.
When we tell your story, and for those who don't know, you and I were chatting before we went on, you were in Russia, not that long ago, a few weeks ago, and now you're back in Seattle, and your season is started. You guys are 6-1 in Seattle, and I talk about your journey a lot. So if we're going to go back to the high school days, and even in your case, the younger youth athletic days, how did sports kind of form your younger years? Where were sports in that for you?
Yeah, sports was huge for me growing up, and especially, I'm sure like most of you, when I was little. My parents just got me involved just to continue to keep me active, continue to get me to do something. But as I continued through high school, sports was like my everything. Obviously, there was my school and my social life, but sports and practice. And that's where most of my memories go back to, whether it was, road trips to games or tournaments or state championships. And I do really miss it. I miss it. I miss the friendships. I miss the practices. Definitely different compared to practices now at the pro level, but it's all about the journey.
And that's one of the things that I think you appreciate, and I certainly hope that the current student athletes, or even the folks who have just left school and are now either playing collegiately or their playing days are over. You talked about it, the relationships. What was it for you in high school, the relationship with your teammates, and how much was that a part of the journey for you, that relationship you built early on?
It was huge. I think, when I look at when I was in high school, I played varsity when I was in 8th grade, and, it was a super young, new kid to really that scene. And a lot of those juniors and seniors took me under their wing. And now to kind of look back, obviously some of my best friends were on my basketball team, and still people that I see when I go home. But the relationships is the biggest thing. My high school coach, Eric Smith, he actually just texted me the other day because he's going to come to a game in Connecticut. And the things like that where it's like, I'm 9 years removed from high school. I'm going to have my 10-year anniversary soon, which is kind of crazy. But still able to really have that connection with my teammates when I was in high school, my coach, and just all the people that I was around. It seems like just yesterday that I was there.
And it'd be crazy for me to not ask you this, because you just said it. You're going to be 10 years removed from this. and it really isn't that long ago. The journey you've been on that 10 years is remarkable. But if I'm, if we're doing this presentation and you're still in high school or you're that 8th grader, what are you telling our kids now? What are you in this position you are telling our kids now?
Obviously to really enjoy the moments. I know that, with everything that's gone on in this past year and a half, especially with COVID and the uncertainty of it all, you never know when your next opportunity is going to be. So continue to kind of enjoy those moments, enjoy school, enjoy, your social life, enjoy playing, and enjoy it all, because soon when you get to the next level, whether it's college or you're just going for school or whatever the case may be, it's not going to be the same. Every time you go to another level, it's not the same as, it was before. College was not the same as high school. The pros is not the same as college. And you have to go in expecting that and go in and really just embracing the memories you've made and use them to continue to build towards where you're going.
You led me perfectly into my next question, and it's about, you've played for a lot of teams. You played it for Team USA. You had a great journey for them wearing that jersey. You played at UConn. You played in Russia. Now you're playing in Seattle. But what was it about playing for CNS? What was it about being a North Star at that level that maybe was different than all the other teams you ever played on?
I was playing for where I'm from. That's home. Growing up in Cicero and North Syracuse, because I actually lived in both. All of those memories were there. Where my basketball career really took off was there. So that's what's different, is like there's just another sense of pride in representing CNS. And not to say that I don't have the same pride representing, obviously, the United States and Russia and Seattle, but, they say, whatever, home is where the heart is. And that's the corny line, but that's true. And to be able to kind of help have Cicero, North Syracuse kind of get me to where I'm going.
And not only that, but it's not always about winning that people remember, but your story is obviously told with the success you had at CNS. And for us at the NYSPHSAA level, to see you at a championship level, what are your memories of state championship basketball? And I know you've won so much. You are probably the most prolific winner that this association's ever turned down, but what did those championships mean to you?
Yeah, to be able to win 2 state championships mean a lot to me, because obviously coming from CNS, coming from a school where, we won sectionals and got to regionals a few times before, I was on a team, and to really kind of help us get to that next level was something that was really exciting, and also wasn't easy. No matter what, none of winning is really easy. But to be able to kind of win my junior year, and then win everything my senior year with the, I'm blanking on the extra tournament.
The Federation tournament. Yep.
Yes, the Federation tournament. It was just the cherry on top. It was the icing on the cake. Just to kind of go out on top, to have those moments and, know that we fulfilled our goals and dreams.
For those that got to see it, it was certainly a fantastic run and a great, core of a team that, went on for a number of years. And obviously, as you said, culminated with consecutive state championships. I had asked you about, your advice to current student athletes and what you would tell them along those lines, not being that far removed from it. For you personally, how did you balance everything? Because we always talk about the student and student athlete. So you've got kids who are trying to juggle that, that fine line. How do you do it? And how were you able to do it?
Yeah. First of all, there's no choice. And all the student athletes on here know that, if you're not doing what you need to be doing in the classroom, you won't be able to do what you want to do on the court. And that's just how it goes. So to be able to to kind of juggle it all. You know, there was moments where there's obviously a lot on our plate, you know, whether it's tests or, you know, midterms or whatever was coming about. But making sure to have the time to balance, you know, continuing to excel and be successful in school, because I wanted to go to college. I wanted to kind of, you know, be at that level academically, and also I wanted to play in college. And it's just about priorities. You know, some of the things that we want to do, whether it's hanging out with friends on a weekday or weekend, you know, we might not be able to do that every single time because you want to get better at your sport. You want to get your schoolwork done. And that's the commitment you make to being a student athlete.
I think you led me perfectly into this, and it's the transition from high school to college. You know, not everybody has the athletic ability that you had and continue to have. Not everybody has that opportunity, but there are people, there are student athletes in the association that will get that chance, whatever level it may be. What was the college commitment process for you? And, you know, that's another thing you have to juggle. When you look back on going through all that from high school to college, what was it like for you?
Yeah. I mean, for me personally, it was, I like to say that I was lucky, because I think the recruiting has gotten a little bit more crazy with what's allowed and what's not allowed. But I think the most important thing is, you know, obviously follow your heart. You know, you make these relationships with these coaches, and, you know, things you want to major in are only available at certain schools. Like, continue to kind of do your due diligence. But also realize that, you know, it is a business. When you do get to college and the next level, it is a business. The coaches want to have the best team, so they want to have the best players, and realize that, you know, they're playing the game too. I know it sounds a little crazy, and it's like, what? But it's true. So make sure you really go there for all the right reasons. Don't commit for what your parents want or your friends want or your coaches want. Really, you make the best choice, because you're the one that's going to be going there.
And you know my favorite story about you with the National Letter of Intent. And everybody who doesn't know it, here's the most sought after female basketball player. Everybody wants her to come. There's no glitz, there's no glamour, there's no signing day ceremony. She signs her NIL on the hood of the car, and her dad sent it in. That was you to a nutshell right there. You knew where you were going, and that was it.
Yeah, to be honest, that I remember that day. And obviously I committed to UConn, and one of the assistant coaches, the associate head coach, Chris Daly, she called me and was like, we need your paperwork. And I was like, okay, like, yeah, we're going to send it. And she's like, no, we need it today so we can talk about you after the game. So no fax machine in my house. So of course I had to drive down to where my dad works. We signed it, he sent it in, but it was just like, you know, just another day where it was signing some paper and sending it in.
Leaning on the hood of the car, let me sign this, send it in, and I'm going to play for Gino. It's a done deal. When you look at, you know, your position and obviously where you are with activism and being an activist, when you look back on it, and maybe even still currently, female role models and who you looked up to or who kind of set the bar for you to where you're at today, who would they be?
I mean, female role models for me who continue to kind of set the bar. Becky Hammond, she's someone who's has ties to the central New York area. Obviously players like Lisa Leslie, Candace Parker, the ones that I really looked up to, Diana Taurasi. I mean, the list really goes on and on and on, but the ones that continue to kind of do both, you know, they were able to be their best. Sorry, my dog is popping in.
That's okay. Mine does it all the time.
They were able to be their best, and also continue to help make this world and this country we live in a better place.
I'll open it up to our student athletes and to the folks who have submitted questions ahead of time. I could go on all day chatting with you because it's fun and it's easy. But one thing I do want to ask you about, and this kind of fits into what you're doing today, and it's the giving back. You have always given your time back to, quite frankly, everybody, but I feel like there's a great deal of give back to your community, and giving whether it's your time, whatever it might be. How important is that to you? And, you know, how have you always looked at the give back to, you know, wherever you want to call home?
I mean, I think giving back is something that's really important, truly important to me. I touched on it a little bit, but, you know, I always remember where I came from and continue to kind of do what I can to help the Syracuse community, to help CNS, and make it so, you know, there's more successful people coming out of our district, out of our state, and just showing them that, you know, I could do it, you can do it, and continue to kind of pass the torch.
Well, I love the fact that we were able to connect, that you were so giving with your time for this event. And it gives us a chance to put you in touch with folks who not only aspire to be where you are, but certainly look up to everything you've done. So at this time, I'm going to open it up to the question and answer portion with our student athletes and with the people who have submitted questions. So right now we're going to start. Our first question is going to come from Bryn, who is from Cherry Valley. And I will turn the floor over to Bryn from Section 4 to ask the question. So Bryn, go ahead.
Okay. Hello. So as a young athlete, I get down on myself when I have a bad game. What advice do you have to overcome that?
Advice that I have to overcome, I guess, the mental struggles and getting down on yourself, is to continue to be confident, continue to know and remember all the work that you put in to get to the point where you're at, and know that, you know, as much as we want every night to be perfect and every night we play our best, sometimes it just doesn't happen. But it's in those moments where, you know, maybe you're not doing the things you normally do, you do the other things to continue to kind of play well. But no, I mean, confidence is a huge thing. And for you to have confidence in yourself and your teammates and have that not waver is something that not many people will have.
Thank you.
Bryn, thank you very much. We appreciate it. Next up will be Shelby. Shelby is from Candor, which is also in Section 4. Shelby, go right ahead.
Hi. Do you have any advice for like athletes who might be like mentally or physically like worn out but still try to battle through it? Kind of like with Naomi Osaka, like what she was kind of going through. Like, do you have any advice for kids who might be feeling that right now too?
Yeah. I mean, I think that obviously mental health is something that's extremely important. And there's obviously mental breakdowns, but also physical burnouts. And to really kind of be aware of it and understand that, you know, if you aren't feeling your best or, you know, mentally able to be there, it's okay to kind of take a step back. It's okay to take a break. But make sure you continue to kind of talk to your support, talk to your circle, make sure that they're there for you. I know that, you know, there's a lot of things going on in this world and it's not always easy, and definitely know it's not easy to play a sport during COVID time. So really props to all of you guys, but don't feel that you have to do anything for anyone except yourself. And that's really the most important thing.
Thank you.
Shelby, thanks. A member of our NYSPHSAA Student Athlete Advisory Committee. Glad she could be with us and get a chance to talk to you, Brianna. Next up will be Hannah. Hannah's from Section 1, Clarkstown North. Hannah, go right ahead.
Hi, Brianna. I wanted to know what advice you have for athletes going through like a slump.
Advice for athletes going through a slump. For me, like if I'm in a tough spot and I'm struggling to kind of shoot the ball well or do what I'm supposed to do well, I like to kind of get in the gym and work harder. What's your sport, Hannah?
I play ice hockey. Okay.
Here we go, ice hockey. I have never ice skated before, but I want to. So for me, like I was saying, basketball analogy, if I'm not shooting the ball well, I want to get in the gym and get more reps up, you know, see the ball go through the basket. And I think I'm more of like a visual person, you know, seeing the ball go in the basket, building more confidence and knowing that, you know, eventually it's going to go in. So if you're playing ice hockey, and I'm not even going to try to like go with the positions or anything because I really am not my best. Just continue to kind of work hard. Continue to obviously embrace the struggles because that's a part of the journey and a part of the process. And I know it can be frustrating, but you know, you going through these struggles is only going to make you stronger. So as much as it, you know, sucks right now, there is a light at the end of the tunnel. And it's more your mental than your physical.
Thank you.
Thanks, Hannah. Appreciate it. Next up, we'll go to section 3. Canastota. We'll go to Keenan, who has a question for Brianna. Keenan, you're on the floor, so it's all yours when you're ready.
Hi, I was wondering that what would help motivate someone that's trying to push harder into their sport and how to become better.
Yeah. I think that, you know, there's a lot to really motivate you, and, you know, what motivates you might not motivate your teammates. But continuing to kind of understand, you know, whether it's seeing yourself have success, seeing yourself get stronger, seeing yourself kind of learn a new skill in your sport. It might be little things. It might be little wins or little games that help you kind of are motivated to be better. For example, for me, you know, if I can see myself learn a new move and like do it in a game, obviously doing it in practice is one thing, but to do it in a game is a whole nother level. You know, that's when you're kind of like, all right, I got this. Now I want to do something else. So just continuing to build that confidence. And then, you know, there's a lot of things. You can watch film, see how other successful people in your sport have gotten to where they are, and, you know, try and imitate and emulate them.
Okay, thank you.
Keenan, appreciate it. We'll go to Kaylee next. Kaylee is from Cooperstown in section 3. Kaylee, go right ahead.
Hi, so what do you like to do in your free time other than practice or like giving back? What do you like to do for yourself?
Yeah. What I like to do in my free time, I like to go shopping. I like to walk around with my dog. He's actually like sitting underneath the table right now. But just enjoy being in Seattle. You know, it was touched on earlier that I was playing in Russia, but great experience being in another country, but happy to be home and just kind of be able to be a regular person.
Kaylee, thanks. We appreciate it. Next up, we have Abigail from section 4 at Marathon. Abigail, if you're able, you go ahead and unmute, and the floor is yours.
Hi, I was wondering what you do in a game if you like miss a shot or you're doing bad. Like, how do you build your confidence back up to keep going?
Yeah. I mean, it happens all the time. You know, if I'm struggling in a game and I can't, you know, hit a shot, or it seems like I can't really do anything, I focus on the little things. I focus on, you know, my hustle, my defense, getting a rebound. I feel that, you know, in a game, it can be any little thing that can kind of flip the switch. And then also, you know, having short-term memory, you know, missing a shot, bye. If it doesn't go in, it's fine, but I'm still going to shoot the next one. And focusing on one play at a time.
Thank you.
You're muted, Chris.
Sorry about that. Good catch. So next up is Abby Racine. Abby is from Northeastern Clinton. She's in Section 7, and she is also a member of the NYSPHSAA Student Athlete Advisory Committee. So Abby, it's all yours.
Hi, Brianna. I'm a big fan. I watch all the time. This is great that I'm able to do this. But I wanted to ask you, with your Achilles tendon injury last year, I just wanted to know what you did for all those athletes, what you did yourself for all those athletes that go through a big injury like that mentally and physically to get yourself through it.
Yeah, so I ruptured my Achilles in 2019, and it wasn't amazing. Wasn't expecting to be injured, but I'm not sure if anyone's really expecting that or prepared for that. And I think, I had some good days and bad days, and it was a roller coaster of a journey. Some days I was upset, some days I was okay with where I was at, but I attacked rehab head on, and I made sure that every day I showed up to rehab and I did what I was supposed to do. And I trusted my PT and my therapist to know that, they were going to do everything in their power to make sure that I got back to where I wanted to be and more. So I think that, as much as injuries suck, just the ability to continue to kind of learn more about yourself, learn more about, what you do besides what you do in your sport. And just know that, we're going to go through a lot of situations in life, and they're not always going to be pretty, but they're going to be worth it. I have a nice scar now. It's a nice memory. And I know that my strength got me through everything to be able to be back where I am.
Great. Thank you.
Abby, thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Next up, we're going to go to Ava. Ava is from Canton. That's in Section 10. So Ava, floor is yours if you want to go ahead and ask your question.
Hi. How did playing for UConn help prepare you for the WNBA?
Playing for UConn helped prepare me for the WNBA because it's the best program in women's basketball. And to continue to be able to kind of learn and play for Coach Brianna, to see all the pros that have gone through that program and where they are today was the main reason, because I wanted to go somewhere where I was going to continue to kind of be better and be the best. But I think that the traits that I've learned at UConn, the mental toughness, how to really work harder than I ever thought I could or knew how to, is what has helped get me to where I am today.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Ava, thank you. Next up, it'll be Emily. Emily is from Huntington, Section 11. So Emily, if you're there, it's all yours.
Hi, Brianna. I just want to say I'm a really big fan of yours, and I really enjoy watching you play, and you make basketball really enjoyable. My question would be, as a basketball player, what would you suggest to focus on in training and stuff, as I'm getting prepared to be playing college and stuff, if I'm lucky enough to have the chance? What would you say the number one thing coaches are looking for at tournaments and stuff?
Yeah, I think the main thing that coaches are looking for is your demeanor, how you are as a teammate, how you are when you're on the court, how you are when you're on the bench. Obviously, they want to see skilled players, but they also want to see people who are selfless and concerned about their team more than themselves. And really the hustle plays, being the person who's kind of running all over the place, diving on the floor. Not everyone does it. So doing the little things that can kind of separate you, I think is something that's super important.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Emily. Next up is Mira. Mira is from Clarkstown North in Section 1. So Mira, I'll have you go next if you're ready.
I did not prepare a question because I didn't know we had to. But
you can go if you're ready. Go ahead.
Oh, can you not hear me?
I can hear you.
You're good.
Well,
I don't have a question, but I want to thank you for doing this because there's a lot of, I'm struggling recently with like mental health in school and sports and balancing and all. And a lot of the things you said actually made me feel a lot better. So thank you.
Yeah, for sure. I think that, I mean, everybody knows like these times aren't easy. So finding the things that kind of make you happy, finding the things that get you to your special place is really important. And there's a lot of apps that can help you do that as well.
Yeah, the mental health aspect of it all can't be lost. And I'm glad she asked you that question. I'm glad you talked about it as well, because it can't be understated. Kate is up next. Kate is on. So if you want to unmute and take the floor, it's all yours.
Hi. I actually broke my leg 2 days before you got injured. And I remember being in the hospital the day after my surgery, hearing about your injury. And you were like a big inspiration for me while I was recovering. And I just wanted to know, does it still affect you like mentally on the court? And if it does, how do you help? Because like, what do you do to like help it? Because me playing, I still sometimes kind of get a little nervous being out there, being physical after my injury all these years later.
Yeah. I wouldn't say that I'm like worried about doing it again, or just like the way that I ruptured my Achilles. Like I was just doing like a pull-up jump shot. So that I'm not nervous about, but I think I'm just aware, you know, I'm aware of my injury. I'm conscious of it. But at the same time, I talked about it a little bit. I trust what I've done to get to this point. And I think you need to continue to do the same. Is trust that, you know, your leg is more than 100%. You know, your leg is strong and obviously holding you up. And it's going to continue to do that. And whatever other obstacles may come, they're going to come. But you know that you did everything you could to get back from your injury.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Kate. Peter's up next. Peter is from Cooperstown. So I'll turn it over to Peter when you're ready. I see Peter's screen, but I don't see Peter, so I'm going to assume maybe he's not available at this second. So maybe we'll circle back to him. A couple of questions, Stewie, that we had got emailed in from people who weren't available to go on screen. One of them that I liked the best was, what's an important quality to be a good leader?
An important quality to be a good leader, I think, is to continue to be there for your teammates. Both in the sport and kind of off the court, off the field. I think that, you know, that's something that we all need to kind of be conscious about. Continue to lead by example. You can't ask anything of your teammates that you're not doing yourself. And I mean, it's simple, but like, be nice to one another, you know, care about one another and be there for one another.
Simple but true. I can understand that. Somebody had emailed in, Jackie Pittick actually asked these 3 questions. Best experience you've had playing overseas?
Best experience I've had playing overseas, probably my most recent season in Russia. We went undefeated. We won everything, but we were able to kind of, you know, really have a great bond together. And I was playing with a lot of other WNBA All-Stars and continue to kind of help grow my game while I was in a different country.
Somebody chatted in a question that I'll ask for them. Kara Mia asked, what advice do you have for students who are transitioning high school to college? You know, the jump from the level of interscholastic athletics to the next level, whatever it might be.
Advice I have for athletes kind of jumping to the next level is first realize that it's not going to be like high school. Realize that everything is going to be a little bit more heightened. Everything is going to be a little bit more. People are going to ask a little bit more of you. And then time management is something that's probably the most important thing, is to be able to juggle everything, because you know, you have to do these assignments, but you have to go to practice, and you have to do lift, and you have to do study hall. So it's just a lot going on. But once you kind of get it under control, get the hang of it, it'll be a breeze.
All right, last question that was emailed in. It came from Jackie again. I think this is a good one. If you weren't playing basketball, what would you be doing? What would the career path have been for you if it wasn't this?
If I wasn't playing basketball, I tell people this all the time. I stopped playing volleyball when I was like really early in high school. But I feel like I could have been a really good volleyball player. And maybe I'll be a beach volleyball player.
That's where it's at.
That's intense.
If you're going to do it, be outside. I mean, if you're going to do it, be on the beach, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That was everything we had sent in from our student athletes, from a lot of people who joined us today. You know, from all of us here, Brianna, we just can't thank you enough for taking the time. I know your schedule is hectic. I know your time is valuable. I really think the student athletes and the folks who joined us got a lot out of this. And it was just a great experience. We really thank you for taking the time to do this for us.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. To all the student athletes, good luck. Continue to work hard. And I hope to see you at the college level and beyond someday.
For you personally, good luck the rest of the WNBA season. We'll be watching. You got a game Friday night against Dallas. And personally, congratulations on the engagement as well. So personal success as well. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Breanna Stewart of the Seattle Storm and a former Cicero North Syracuse North Star. Very generous with her time for us, and glad to have her on this edition of the Captains Club. Brought to you by the New York State Correctional Officers and Police Benevolent Association. I'm Chris Watson. We'll see you next time. Thanks for joining us.